I never imagined that one ordinary afternoon at the community center would change the way I saw someone forever. My name is Rachel Thompson, and this story is not about something I'm proud of. It's about something that happened so unexpectedly that even now, when I close my eyes, I can still see it as if it's unfolding right in front of me. It started as just another long day. I'd been volunteering at the local recreation center for a few months, trying to find something that made me feel less lonely after my divorce. My marriage had ended after 12 years. I was 36, living in a small apartment, and trying to rebuild a life that I barely recognized. That day, the summer heat pressed down like a weight, making the gym smell of chlorine and sweat, but I stayed because helping out there was my way of staying busy and distracted. I'd known Ethan Miller for a while, but never really paid him much attention. He was 24, tall, broad-shouldered, and usually came to the center to help his younger brother practice basketball. He was friendly, polite, and always had that quiet confidence about him that I tried to ignore. Our conversations never went beyond polite greetings and casual comments about the weather or the kids at the center. He was just a young man who came and went. That was all. That afternoon, though, I had been helping stack folding chairs and gather towels after a kid's swim lesson. My hair was pulled into a messy ponytail, and my shirt stuck to my back. I just wanted to go home, shower, and collapse onto my couch. As I walked toward the small locker area near the pool, I realized how empty the place was. Most of the kids had left, and there were only a few lifeguards outside chatting. It was quiet in that hollow, echoing way that only empty gyms and pools can be. I didn't even know he was there until I heard his voice behind me. "Need some help?" he asked. I turned around quickly, my heart jumping just a little from being startled. Ethan stood there in a sleeveless shirt, holding a rolled-up towel in one hand, his dark hair damp, as if he'd just come from the pool. His shirt clung to him, outlining muscles I'd never allowed myself to notice before. I laughed nervously. "Oh, I didn't see you there." "Yeah. These towels are heavier than they look." He walked over, taking half the stack from my arms with an easy smile. "You shouldn't be carrying all these by yourself," he said. "Where are you taking them?" "Just to the supply room," I said, nodding toward a hallway that led to a small door. We walked there together, making small talk about nothing in particular. It should have ended there. I should have said goodbye, but it didn't. When we reached the door, I unlocked it and pushed it open. The supply room was tiny, barely bigger than a walk-in closet, with shelves of neatly stacked towels, cleaning supplies, and spare swim gear. I stepped inside to put the towels away, thinking he'd leave them at the door, but instead, he followed me in. The door clicked shut behind him. I froze, looking at him over my shoulder, confused. "You can just set them down," I said lightly.
He didn't leave.
"I can help you put them up," he offered, already reaching for the top shelf. The small room suddenly felt even smaller, and I became painfully aware of how close we were standing. His arm brushed mine as he stacked towels above me. The scent of chlorine and something warm and masculine hung in the air. My pulse jumped in a way I wasn't prepared for. I tried to focus on what I was doing, sliding the towels onto the shelf, but my hands trembled. My mind kept telling me this was innocent. It had to be innocent. Yet the closeness, the way he filled the little space with his presence, was doing something to me I couldn't ignore. Then the strangest thing happened. One of the towels slipped from my arms, and as I bent down to pick it up, so did he. We both straightened at the same time, and his chest brushed against my shoulder. It was such a small, accidental touch, but it jolted me like a current. "I'm sorry," I whispered. "It's okay," he said softly, but his eyes caught mine, and suddenly the air was thick. I don't know why I couldn't look away. His gaze was steady, searching, almost questioning, and in that moment, all the walls I had built since my divorce felt like they were cracking. "I should, get going," I mumbled, stepping back. But the room was too small. My back hit the shelf behind me, and he stepped closer without meaning to. The space between us shrank until there was almost none at all. For a moment, neither of us spoke. All I could hear was the sound of my own heartbeat echoing in my ears. My voice trembled as I tried to make light of it. "These supply rooms are too tiny," He nodded slowly, his eyes still locked on mine. Yeah, he said. Barely enough room to breathe. I knew I should leave. I knew better. But something in me had been so lonely, so starved for connection, that I didn't move. And then, as if something invisible pushed us both at the same time, he reached past me to grab the last towel from my hands, and his arm brushed against my side. He didn't mean to, but his presence filled every inch of that cramped little stall of a room, and I couldn't breathe. I let out a shaky laugh, trying to ease the tension. Okay, you win. You've officially helped me enough. He hesitated, his hand resting on the shelf above my head. Rachel, he said quietly. My name on his lips made something stir deep in my chest. Yes, I whispered. You don't have to keep doing everything alone, he said. It wasn't about the towels anymore. It was about so much more. His voice was deep, steady, and so kind that it caught me off guard. I blinked back the sudden sting of tears, not even sure why I was reacting like this. I've gotten used to it, I admitted. You don't have to, he said again, firmer this time. The sincerity in his tone undid me in ways I wasn't prepared for. Before I realized what I was doing, I looked up at him, and something unspoken passed between us. It was wrong, it was messy, but it was real. My heart pounded as he stepped just a little closer. The shelves pressed into my back, and I felt surrounded by him, overwhelmed by the intensity of the moment. The world outside that tiny room seemed to fade away. I don't know how long we stood there like that, barely a breath apart. Then someone's laughter echoed faintly down the hall, breaking the spell. I blinked, reality crashing back. I ducked under his arm, brushing past him, and grabbed the door handle. I should go, I said quickly, my voice barely steady. Rachel, he said again, but I couldn't look back. I opened the door and stepped out into the hallway, my heart still racing. I walked fast, almost running, until I reached the quiet of the parking lot. My hands shook as I unlocked my car. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying that moment in my head. The way he'd looked at me. The way I had felt alive for the first time in years. It scared me because it made me realize how much I'd been hiding from myself. I wasn't supposed to feel something like that for someone younger, someone I barely knew. But feelings don't care about rules. The next few days at the center were awkward. I avoided him, and he gave me space, but I could feel it every time he walked into a room. It was like gravity. And then one day, he found me again. This time in the same hallway, standing by the supply door. You've been avoiding me, he said, his voice calm. I have not, I said, too quickly. You have,